a good game by our guys. Defensively, again, they're four all-stars. They're just a tough cover, and then you got the two shooters that they have. So we have to keep trying to mix up what we do, and our guys did a pretty good job of trying to pay attention or lock in on the details of the different changes that we were going through on the defense end of the floor. In the first half, the offensive rebounds by them were killing us. They had 9. The second half, we did a better job. We, put bodies on bodies and limited them to 4 offensive rebounds. I don't know what to do about the free throw line. 22-6 in the second half. You got to go back and watch the film. Maybe we're fouling, but it's a pretty big discrepancy for a half when you're talking about 22-6 in free throws. But maybe we were fouling and they weren't fouling. I don't know. But our defense overall, besides those two things, first half giving up offensive rebounds, second half sending them to the free throw line, it was pretty good, especially when you have the talent that they have and the all-stars that they have, the great players and the shooting that they have. For us, offensively, we have to keep playing faster. We did a better job of spraying the basketball and taking care of the ball. We had 15 sprays this game compared to 9 sprays in game 1. When we hit that paint, we have to play off of 2 because they do a good job of protecting the paint. Got to get that ball off the glass, play faster. We did a better job playing faster this game. Like I said, the 7 turnovers was pretty good for a game against a team in the playoffs. A lot of guys stepped up. Jalen had a double-double. They're sending double teams at him, and he had 14 assists. Again, he did what he was supposed to do. Cat with a double-double, 18 points on very efficient shooting and 13 rebounds. McKill was huge, 19 points, especially catching the ball in the pocket versus their double teams or their tilts. OG was awesome too. He only had 4 rebounds, but he guarded Allen most of the game, and trying to keep Allen off the glass is a load, especially in the second half. And OG did a great job with that, and then he did a great job in the pocket and out on the perimeter when he was open as well, mixing up his attacks and his shooting from the 3-point line. And then Josh, we had 32 assists on 44 buckets. Josh had 7 assists, 1 turnover, in 33-plus minutes. He did a great job on the glass. He's our leading scorer with 26 points. And, obviously, if they continue to leave him open, he's got to continue to let it fly. I think he started out 0 for 3, his first 3 threes, and then he goes 5 for 8 after that. And so we want him to keep shooting it. If his feet are set and Jared Allen wants to play in the paint, shoot it, and we'll figure out the rest of the game after that. But just a well of a game from Josh. One thing we told our team is they're very good at home. They were down 0-2 against Detroit, and again, Cleveland is well coached. Kenny's an excellent coach, and they have a load of talent on that team. We know those guys are hungry and they don't quit, so we know this game 3 is going to be tough in Cleveland because they're coming.
And how do you feel like you maintain that throughout the game?
It's just who Josh is. He's a gamer. He knew what he had to do in terms of the adjustments he needed to make in order to be effective, not just for him but for the team. And he was great. He was really decisive. Not only that, he helped us get out in transition. And we have to play fast, so we're not going against a set defense all the time. When you get out in transition, if you're a team that cross matches and you get out in transition, it's going to be hard for you to find the right bodies, and that's how we're going to have to play. We're going to have to play fast versus their cross matches to see if we can get something early in transition. Josh knew what he had to do for the adjustments in this game.
Mike, you've talked during the year about versatility of the way you guys can mount an offense. Jalen today with a career high playoff assists. Just, I guess, what you saw from him being willing to become that distributor tonight.
Well, as an MVP candidate, Jalen Brunson's job is to make the game easier for his teammates, and that's what he did. If you don't send a second guy at him, he's got a pretty good chance of scoring it. If you send the second guy at him, he's going to make the game easier for his teammates. He's going to find them. They just have to step up and make shots. So it starts with Jalen as an MVP candidate, but also it ends with his teammates making shots. Now, that won't be it can't be done if our spacing is not right. So I give a lot of credit to Chris Gent, our offensive coordinator, and TJ Saint, our assistant offensive coordinator, and continuing to talk to the guys about spacing. And then I give credit to our players for spacing the floor the right way. But like I said, you're an MVP candidate like Jalen is. You got to make the game easier for everybody else.
With Josh, he started 0 for 3. It looked like he was a little frustrated. I mean, what does it say about him that he keeps taking those open shots? And I guess what does it say about you that you keep telling him to take those open shots?
Well, it's easy for me to say it, because I got the utmost confidence in the world in him, but he's a gamer. When you have guys that are gamers, they do stuff that people don't think that they can do at any time. And he knows the work that he puts in. We know the work that he puts in, and his confidence is not going to waver. He's going to put pressure on himself to take that next one and make the next one.
Coach, you've talked about their shooting. What do you think about the looks that they're getting, the Cavs are getting, mostly on the weak side? And are you willing to sort of live with the sort of shot selection that they've had so far?
No, we have to do a better job getting to their shooters, especially Sam Merrill and Strus, man. Those guys, they were 1 for 11 from the three. It's not going to happen again. So we have to do a better job of getting to their bodies. They had a couple of open looks tonight, and we'll go back and watch the film to see what we could do that's a little bit better to keep them from beating us from behind that arc, because those guys are more than capable of doing it.
Mike, Mike, congrats on the win. We've talked before about you at times having guys like Chris or Brendan address the team at the start of a timeout before you come in tonight. There was a moment where Jose was the one addressing the team before you came over. Was that planned? I saw Jalen say something to you before. Or what's his voice been like in these playoffs?
Jose?
Yeah.
Jose's been phenomenal. We actually pointed it out to our group in practice. You watch the film, he's uplifting the entire team when he's on the bench. He's always talking in a positive way, and he's showing our young guys that you can impact the game if you're present. Because Jose's always present. If you're present and you're using your voice and your energy, guys feel that on the floor. So Jose's been phenomenal during the course of the game when he's on the bench. He's been phenomenal during timeouts. And then, obviously he gives us an opportunity to spell Jalen.
Mikhail, going back to that game 3 now, and he had a tough game. I think he was 0 for 4 turnovers, and he's been in the middle of this winning streak for you guys. What did you see from him that may have changed going back to then to now?
And just to, his aggression, but I also have to help him too by putting him in position to be able to make plays. He's a guy that can make plays for himself. He can make plays for his teammates, but he just started to impose his will on the game a little bit more, while I also try to make sure I called his number every once in a while, make sure he stays in the flow, because, he has a tough assignment every game defensively. He gets out and runs. He slips pick and rolls and respaces. And so, I have to make sure that I continue to involve him offensively to let him know that, hey, we know you can do this for us, so go do it.
Coach, we actually have one more right here.
Okay.
Mike, Josh comes across very competitive and edgy. I'm curious how long it takes you to reach and connect with a player like that, to understand the ups and downs that comes with him.
It takes me. I'm human. It takes me some time. I tell you what, my time with Andre Iguodala in Golden State helped a lot, because they're different players, but they're similar players because Andre's edgy too, and Andre's a hell of a player. I mean, he's a great player, and he does so many little things that if you're not careful, you won't appreciate them. And it's the same with Josh. He does so many little things that don't show up in this box score. I mean, obviously, he shot it well tonight. He scored 26 points. He had 7 assists, 1 turnover. But he does so much more, starting with the versatility that he gives us defensively, that, you have to, start with me, be careful to not dismiss it. And then on top of that, because he's so impactful as a connector, I got to give him probably more leash than anybody else. I got to let him go be him and get out of his way. And, that's hard sometimes as a coach because you're looking at X's and O's and you want everything to be perfect and you're looking at the box score and you're looking at this. And with Josh, with Andre, all that should be thrown out the window because those dudes are winners.